Hello, gorgeous people. Happy Tuesday. How are we all doing? So, it's half term at this end. So, I have sent the kids out so we can have a moment of peace and work on our root chakra. So, as I mentioned, over the next 7 weeks, we're going to be looking at the chakra system. And I debated on whether to come at this from a really kind of feminine form, spiritual side, or to bring in more of the masculine. And I think I'm going to incorporate both because I think that's when we really start to see, from my opinion, when we really start to see the transformation. Because it's been my experience that in my journey, yes, there's been a couple of big things that have happened that have really woke me up and really awakened me. One of these was through a spiritual experience, but actually the other was very much through a life experience. So it might be useful for me to share those in case this resonates with any of you out there. I've probably had quite a few different experiences, but two really stick in my mind as times where I've thought things are changing. This has got to change. And the first one was not glamorous, not pretty at all. It was when my marriage broke down. So my first marriage broke down. Oh gosh, I'm just trying to think how long that would be. That was probably nine years ago, something like that. And at the end of that, well, as I was transitioning out of that marriage, as made the decision to end that relationship, I was struck by this, just like I could all of a sudden see that I'd spent that whole relationship living my life according to what was right for that relationship. I hadn't been doing the things I wanted to do. I hadn't been showing up as I wanted to. I'd been very much, I think I'd been coming at it from a place of wanting to compromise. But that compromise meant that I'd completely lost myself. And it was a real light bulb moment for me. Probably something that lots of people around me could see, but it was something that I couldn't see until I realized I'd put everything into this relationship from a viewpoint of it was going to last forever. And therefore, that's just what you do. So that was a real wake up moment for me. And some may not call that a spiritual awakening, but actually to me, it felt very spiritual. It felt very much like someone had slapped me around the face in a really beautiful way, in a weird way. It woke me up to, oh my God, you've been wasting your life. So that was one which didn't come from any kind of spiritual practice. The second one that really struck me was I was on a meditation retreat it was a Zen meditation retreat. We were working with a koan. So for those of you that don't know what a koan is, it's where you meditate and work with a question. And I've shared this question with you, and we've done this meditation maybe in this space, I think. If not, we've certainly done it in the old membership, which is who am I? And this was a silent retreat apart from this element where you would sit opposite someone and they would ask you the question, who are you? And you would just talk anything that came up. They weren't allowed to respond. They weren't allowed to judge. They had to sit there like a mirror. And then halfway through, you would swap over and you would be the person that would ask the question. So I've been working with this for like 3 days. And by this point, I was just so sick of this question. I was exhausted. I was cold. I was fed up. And you go through this kind of real, I think with most awakenings, there is a period of lowness. There's this, you've got to hit some kind of momentum to come back up again, to come back into that next level, that next stage of awakening. And so for me, I'd got to this real low point. I was like ranting whenever someone was like, so who are you? And I remember saying, I don't even know what that means anymore, blah, 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 blah. And I'd gone through the whole, I'm a wife, I'm a mum, I'm a, whatever my job was, and all of this. And then this light bulb went off that actually I'd spent, again, an enormous amount of time trying to be something else. And that sounds really strange to say it out loud, but this kind of want to get to some better version of me, or to show up better, or to be better, or to more like them, and not even necessarily consciously, but this pressure that was always there in the background that I couldn't just be me, show up as me in the moment. And this light bulb went off that actually I don't need to try to be anything else. I'm me. I can't ever be anything other than who I am. And this was like this huge light bulb moment. But the other times I have got to that stage of something breaking through, some kind of step forward, some kind of a new level of awakening, has been through doing the inner work. And I've had one recently, and I don't mind sharing about this. It's less dramatic, I suppose, in a way, but it was very much an aha moment. And I have my own coach. I work with my coach. And we were talking about the fact that I was going to be giving up the day job and moving into doing this full time. And I was putting judgment on myself for this. I was saying, the safest thing to do is stay in my career, and, I've got a family to take care of, and all of these things. And the word that kept coming up for me was reckless. And my coach stopped me and said, what's that about? What's that word about? And I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, that's my mum. And I don't often share much about my upbringing as such, but my mum had been what I had labelled as reckless. She had not been very good with money, we moved around a lot, she was always in debt. There was all of these things. And I remember her being labelled as reckless. And this was my big fear coming up, was I was going to be reckless. Hey, Tam, lovely. Hope you're doing okay. I can see someone else said hello, but I can't see who it is. It's not showing me on StreamYard. I'll have a look afterwards. But hi, lovely. And so I'd been putting all this judgment on myself about being reckless. So I had to reframe it. I had to relook at it and go, actually, was my mum reckless? And, some may label her as that, but also she taught me a hell of a lot. There was never a time when we went hungry. There was never a time when, we didn't have a roof over our heads or those sort of things. So she always found a way. Not necessarily a good way, but always found a way. And I'm really grateful that has given me that inner sense of, do you know what? I always find a way. There's never a time when I haven't been able to provide for my family or provide for myself, or been in such a situation where I thought, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. So sometimes our awakening is looking at those really not pleasant things that we have to face and say, right, what's really going on here? So for me, at that time, and the reason I share this story is it's very much connected to the root chakra, because I was feeling very unsafe. I was feeling unsafe with my decision. I was feeling unsafe with financial security. I was feeling unsafe in myself. And the thing is, safety is an inside job. Once we've, got past our initial needs being met, it really is an inside job. So if at any time we're feeling anxious or like there's a level of anxiety about something, this is something that is coming from within. So from past experiences, from past conditioning, from things that we were taught growing up. I've had to unravel a lot of money stories around when I've been building this business, because I always was taught, you've got to work really hard for money. People do jobs they don't like. That's just the way it is. And I felt really guilty for having a way to make money in a way that absolutely lit me up and that I absolutely enjoyed. And I had to really work through that, which sounds bizarre, but there was still a part of me that felt really guilty for that and almost didn't want to accept it. So the reason I share all of this is we're going to be working with the root chakra today. And it's completely up to you how deep you want to go with this. But from my experience, the deeper you go, the greater the reward, the greater that sense of freedom, the greater that sense of letting go. And we're in Kapha season at the moment, which is the time when we can hold on to things. So, you might find yourself more likely to be dwelling on the past, to be thinking back to old experiences, old wounds, or things that hurt you. So this could be a really good opportunity to start letting some of that go, if any of it is connected to your feeling of safety. Oh, how's that feeling to you all? I feel like I've just dumped a load of my emotional stuff on you. I hope that's okay. I hope you are able to receive that okay and don't feel like I've dumped that on you. Let me know. So today, you may want your journal. We're going to be doing a meditation to bring awareness to the root chakra. And then after that, we're going to use that level of awareness to tap into some questions that will help us bring light to some of those things that might help you get to that next level of self-awareness, that next level of self-awakening. So I hope that sounds good to you. Like I say, go as deep as you feel comfortable going. If you want to go for it, go for it. Sometimes the times when I've wanted to go deep, I haven't been able to. And when I really didn't want to, things have just occurred to me. So, go into this with letting go of expectation, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. Don't put an enormous amount of pressure on yourself, because sometimes that can block you. So let me have a sip of my tea. Well, it's not tea, actually. I've got cacao today. I'm very much experiencing a lot of kapha at the moment. I've had a cold that has left me feeling really bunged up and yucky, and a lack of kind of wanting to move my body. So I'm working with it, and I'm getting back into balance. So let me have a sip. And while I do, get your nest ready, get comfy. And excuse me if I clear my throat. Like I say, cold is not helping me at the moment. And as and when you're ready, slowly closing your eyes and bring your awareness initially to the breath in the belly. And just noticing that gentle rise and fall. Noticing how that rhythm is for you today. And if at any point you get distracted or pulled into thought, just notice and bring your awareness back to the breath in the belly. And drawing that awareness down now to the end of your spine, all the way round to the bottom of your pubic bone. So it's creating like a horseshoe shape. And just allow your awareness to rest in this area, like we do with the breath in the belly. And like we do with the breath, getting curious with what's going on here. Is there areas that hold a lot of sensation? Is there areas here that you can feel very little? Noticing if there's any particular areas you're drawn to or any areas you want to push away in this area of the body. And you may notice that as you rest your awareness here, the sensations change. And I invite you to imagine now that with each breath you take in, energy is drawn into this space through the energy of the breath, traveling down from the belly into this root chakra. You may see it, you may feel it, you may just imagine it, whatever feels best for you. Just don't judge the experience. And with each breath you take in, the energy grows in this area, becoming more alive, more vibrant, more awakened. See if you can sense or feel, or just imagine that happening in this area of the body, this horseshoe shape, coming back to life. And I invite you now to pick up your journals and ask yourself, where in my life do I not feel currently safe or fully safe? And diving deeper into that, asking, why is this? And trying not to think too much about the answers, just allowing them to come through. And next question is, what does that mean? And if you find that the writing dries up at any point, ask yourself again in relation to the last thing you wrote. So, what does that mean? And the last question is, so what is that teaching me? I'm finishing up wherever you are, and you can work on these questions for the rest of this week. This week is going to be your week to focus on safety, to focus on how can you cultivate that feeling of safety within. Not waiting for the perfect circumstances or I think we do that, don't we? Wait for things to be perfect externally before we allow ourselves to feel safe in this moment. Even when this moment is completely perfect and you're already completely safe. I mean, there's no tiger in this room. So yeah, cultivating that feeling of safety this week, leaning into that. I would love to know if anything came through for you during that meditation or the journaling session. I don't mind sharing what came through for me, or a couple of bits that came through for me. So what is this teaching me? That I can let go and enjoy what is. Control is an illusion. This path is so much bigger than I could ever fathom, but I get to trust. It will be fine. I will be fine. Life works as it's supposed to, and I'm not here to be the puppet master. And that kind of filled me with a feeling of, oh, what a relief. I can just let it unfold. So yeah, I'd love to know if anything came through for you. Oh, thank you for that, ladies. I feel like I enjoyed that and needed that just as much. I will finish with a card pull. So a card for us to go away with today. Very similar. You're very welcome, lovely. So yeah, see if you can continue this focus on the root chakra. The more you work with these questions, the more things will come out. The more you will begin to uncover things you didn't know was there. Like I say, that example with my mum, I had no idea that was living within me. I had no idea I was holding on to that. And since working through it and processing it, I feel like almost like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. And I get to show up as me, even more fully me. And your card for today is clarity. So I'm hoping that gave you some clarity. Beautiful card with quartz crystals on. I believe they're quartz crystals. I'm sure someone will tell me if not. And this tells us and this is in relation to the third eye chakra. You have attracted this card into your awareness today because clarity is upon you. The ability to experience clarity is connected to the third eye chakra, and the more this chakra opens and is activated, the more clarity you will receive. It's time to see things clearly, to receive the answers you've been searching for. When our third eye chakra is blocked, it can affect our perception of situations in our life. You're being encouraged at this time to cleanse and work on strengthening your third eye chakra so it works to your full potential. There are some great meditations you can work with to activate the third eye, and a great crystal to assist you is amethyst. Place this crystal on your third eye point and breathe in its energy to help activate and awaken your chakra. As the third eye opens, you will receive a lot more clarity in your life. Clarity comes when we understand and clear the confusion around stressful situations in your life. What in your life requires clearing? It is now time for you to action some clearing. Sometimes our mind creates illusions that stop us from seeing the truth. It is time for you to let go of your thoughts that no longer serve you and come into a place of clarity. Once you receive this clarity, you will receive a deep sense of self and well-being in your world. This card also indicates that it's a time to clarify a particular situation in your life. You may have asked a question, and this card is telling you that once you work on finding clarity, the answer will come. And the affirmation for this card is, I experience life with divine clarity. Oh, that seems really appropriate, although it's a different chakra. Hopefully you found some clarity today. Tamisha, there's always something left to learn, something else for me to become more aware about myself. I have cut of connection to parts of my body in an act of protection, and now I am taking back possession, taking action today. Wow, that is amazing. And it's so true. How often do we disconnect to parts of trauma? So, lovelies, I hope you enjoyed that this week. I invite you to continue working with the root chakra this week. Get deeper, get more clear on anything else you've been holding on to around your feelings of safety that might be holding you back from experiencing this life more fully, showing up as yourself more fully, taking the actions you know you need to take. A bit like with me and this business, it took me 2 years to make the decision to do this full time, despite the fact I knew it was so what I needed to do. So I invite you to learn from my mistakes and take on board what you need to. And yeah, feel free to share in the group anything that comes through for you this week, working with the root chakra. If you need just a safe space to share what's been coming up for you as you work through this, because I know sometimes people in our, the people around us may not get this. And that's okay. They don't need to. But sometimes we need to voice that, and we need to share that, and we need to get it out into the world. So make use of that community space. It's there for you. And as you know, everyone in there is really beautiful and supportive and will not be judging you. So, sending you so much love. Have a gorgeous week. I will see you Friday as we have our chat in regards to Iyengar yoga this week. So that would be really interesting. I will put an event reminder in the group with the Zoom link so you can access that on Friday, 12 o'clock. Come join us with the gorgeous Janine, and she'll be telling us a little bit about Iyengar yoga and how that works with the spiritual side. And then on the Monday, we've got our book club workshop, which is all around the Yoga Sutras, which I have to say, I've downloaded the Yoga Sutras on Audible. And I did worry a bit about Audible in terms of I'm quite old-fashioned in the respect of I love a paperback book. I love the feeling of a book. I love flicking through the pages. I don't know, there's something really beautiful about it to me. And I thought, am I going to enjoy Audible as much? And I did used to use it a lot when I was really unwell. It was something that I could just close my eyes and listen to. But what I love about Audible and the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali is at the beginning of each sutra, there is a beautiful chant of the sutra. So, if you're struggling to read the book or struggling to retain it, I would highly recommend it on Audible. It's really beautiful. Ali, will the event be recorded because you can't make it? Yes, they're all recorded and they'll be available to watch in the platform. I do need to pre-warn you about something actually. Jury service Monday, so apologies, no problem, lovely. It'll be available to watch on catch up. Just to let you know, I'm in the process of changing over platforms. The reason being is our current platform is coming to an end in April. They've said they're stopping it. So I've got a new platform, just in the process of transferring everything over. And I'll share that link with you soon so that you can get to grips with it before the old platform completely closes. But Tamisha will know that the new program I'm just running, they are the first to try out this new platform. And when there was a few teething issues, but I've got to grips with it now. I figured out what I'm doing. So, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Ali. And yeah, I hope you took something from it. Perfect. Okay. Sending you so much love, guys. Have a gorgeous week. And I will see you soon. Take care.